Classics for STEM. This sphere is a solid, and here we have a sphere that I drew in Inkscape, and here we have the portico of a classical building that I drew in Inkscape also. STEM is an acronym that stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This sphere is a solid. Figure 1, a sphere that I drew in Scalable Vector Graphics, or SVG. Scalable Vector Graphics is an XML format wherewith one can fashion computer graphics for the web. Introduction. In this article we shall examine the word for the sphere in ancient Greek. In Greek, haute spira este soma, and this, when translated into English, this sphere is a three-dimensional object. The formula for the volume of a sphere is volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. The formula for the surface area of a sphere is surface area equals 4 pi r squared. Conclusion. The ancient Greeks wrote treatises on geometry. By our learning the ancient Greek words for sphere and 3D object, we can perhaps better engage with ancient Greek texts like Euclid's The Elements, and The Elements was composed circa 300 BCE, which may employ these geometric terms. Glossary. And in this glossary we shall go over some Greek and Latin mathematical terms, as well as some English mathematical terms. First up we have this Latin adjective, solid, solida, solidus, solidum, and this is a first and second declension adjective, and it means solid, and the Latin adjectival base is equal to solid. Rhythmically, solida, solidus, solidum, and I use an acute here so as to signify which Latin syllable gets the stress. Here we have the Greek word he spira, and its genitive singular is tes spiros, and this is a first declension feminine ancient Greek noun, and it means ball, globe, sphere, and the ancient Greek nominal stem is spira. Transliterated, he spira, genitive singular, tes spiros, first declension feminine ancient Greek noun, and it means ball, globe, sphere. Ancient Greek nominal stem, spira. And rhythmically, I find that by writing words out this way, it helps me to pronounce long syllables twice as long and short syllables for one beat or mora. A short syllable is one mora in length, whereas a long syllable is two morai in length. So that's why I write it out this way. He spira, genitive singular. Tes spiros. This is a first declension feminine ancient Greek noun, and it means ball, globe, sphere. And the ancient Greek nominal stem is spira. And here we have the copulative verb heime, heime, and heime means I am. Attic is the dialect of Athens. Ancient Greek really is not one main language. It is really a collection of dialects, but Attic is the main one. If you learn Greek at undergraduate level, you'll be mostly learning Attic, or you might learn Koine, but the Koine that you would be learning is Attic Koine. I think it's just a simplified version of Attic. So these are the principal parts of the ancient Greek verb, and from these principal parts one can construct all of the morphologies of the verb, all of the grammatical instances of the verb. And so we have eime, and then we have einai, and then we have esamai, and then we have to borrow this from gymnamai. So this is actually a form of gymnamai, not really eimi, so I put in brackets. So this is egenomein, and this is gegana, and this is gegenemai. And so these four here come from gymnamai, which means to, I think, to give birth or to come to be, and it supplies where there are morphologies lacking, we go to gymnamai to fill in the gaps. So this is an ancient Greek verb, and it means to be, to exist, or of persons to live, of events to happen, of events to be the case, copulative, and I think copula is a Latin word, and it means a couple or a coupling. So eimi doesn't take an accusative, rather it takes a predicate nominative, and verbs which take as their object a predicate nominative are called copulative verbs, because most transitive verbs, they take an accusative. So we'll say that again, copulative verbs join a subject and a predicate object, and both of these are in the nominative. The subject is in the nominative and the predicate object is in the nominative. So in the third person, impersonal, it can mean it is possible, plus infinitive equals that. So transliterated. Hey me, hey nai, esamai, egenomen, gegonna, gegenemai, egeneten. Ancient Greek verb, to be, to exist, of persons, to live, of events, to happen, of events, to be the case, copulative, to be, plus nominative equals something, someone, third person, impersonal, it is possible, plus infinitive equals that. And now we shall write out the ancient Greek copulative verb eime, rhythmically. Eime, einai, esamai, egenomen, gegonna, egenetin. And this is an ancient Greek verb, and it means to be, to exist, of persons, to live, of events, to happen, of events, to be the case, copulative, to be, plus nominative equals something, someone, third person, impersonal, it is possible, plus infinitive equals that. And here we have an older dialect than either the Koine of the 1st century CE, which is what the New Testament is written in, and older even than Attic, which was used in Athens, I think circa around 500 BCE. Epic is an older dialect, and we call it Epic after the style of Greek used in the Homeric epics, like the Odyssey. So sometimes you might hear the epic dialect called Homeric, and so the forms are a little bit different to the forms in Attic. These are the forms in Attic, these are the forms in Epic. And so, eime, einai, emenai, emenai, emen, emen, esamai, esamai, gegenomen, gega, geneten. This is an ancient Greek verb, and it means to be, to exist, of persons, to live, of events, to happen, of events, to be the case, copulative, to be, plus nominative equals something, someone, third person, impersonal, it is possible, plus infinitive equals that. And now when we come to transliterate the Homeric or epic form of eime, here we have eime, einai, emenai, emenai, emen, emen, esamai, esamai, gegomen, gega, geneten. And this is an ancient Greek verb, and it means to be, to exist, of persons to live, of events to happen, of events to be the case, copulative, to be, plus nominative equals something, someone, third person impersonal, it is possible, plus infinitive equals that. And now when we come to write out the Homeric or epic version of me, we get. Me, nai, imenai, imen, isomai, gegomen, gega, geneten. Ancient Greek verb, to be, to exist, of persons, to live, of events, to happen, of events, to be the case. Copulative, to be, plus nominative, equals something, someone. Third person, impersonal, it is possible, plus infinitive, equals that. And here we come to the ancient Greek noun ta, soma. And I was actually wondering, because Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World, and there was, I think, a drug that was given to the lower classes called soma. And I was wondering, because in epic and often in other early works it means a dead body, and then we have in Soylent Green the food stuff that they were eating was made out of dead bodies, and I wonder, does it stem back to the Greek word soma? And so ta, da, soma, genitive singular, do, somatos, and this is a third declension neuter noun, and it means body, both that of people and animals. One, epic, dialect, and often in other earlier works, dead body. Two, one's life in the physical world as opposed to spiritual. Three, person. Four, an entire thing. Five, mathematics, three-dimensional object. And now when we go to transliterate it, da, soma, genitive singular, to, somatos, this is a third declension neuter noun, body, both that of people and animals, epic, and often in other early works, dead body. Two, one's life in the physical world as opposed to spiritual. And continuing on, I think these numbers here are wrong. Person, an entire thing. Mathematics, three-dimensional object. Rhythmically, da, soma, genitive singular, do, somatos, and this is a third declension neuter noun. Body, both that of people and animals, epic, and often in other early works, dead body. One's life in the physical world as opposed to spiritual. Person, an entire thing. Mathematics, three-dimensional object. The writing got a bit small here, but I shall give a link in the description, and you can find a copy of this where it's done in either Microsoft Word or in HTML, and there aren't any typographical problems like this. So here we have haute, hutos, tuto, genitive singular, tautes, tuto, tutu, tutu. This is a medial demonstrative determiner and pronoun, and it means this, of place, here, in contrast with hode, the preceding, in contrast with ekenos, the latter, of someone or something famous or infamous. Transliterated, haute, hutos, tuto, genitive singular, tautes, tutu, tutu. Medial demonstrative determiner and pronoun. This, of place, here, in contrast with hode, the preceding, in contrast with ekeinos, the latter, of someone or something famous or infamous. And then, if you write this out rhythmically, we have ho, te, hutos, tuto, genitive singular, tautes, tautu, tautu. I'm sorry, I think this is a mistake. That shouldn't be an A, that should be an omicron or an O. So it should be tu. I shall fix this in the notes before I post them in the description. This means this, of place, here, in contrast with ode. That should actually be hode. Don't worry, when I post the notes, I'll correct all this. In contrast with ekeinos, the latter, of someone or something famous or infamous. And now we come on to the Oxford English Dictionary definition of solid. So solid is the IPA listing of it. Adjective, firm and stable. That should be an L. I'll correct that in the notes. Firm and stable in shape, not liquid or fluid. The stream was frozen solid. Strongly built or made of strong materials, not flimsy or slender. A solid door with good, secure locks, having 3 dimensions. This is a definition that we are interested in, having 3 dimensions. A solid figure with 6 plane faces. I think that would be a cube. And that's actually the next video. This video is about spheres, and the next video will be near enough the same, but we've changed the word sphere to cube. So a cube is a solid figure with 6 plane faces. Attributive, concerned with objects having 3 dimensions. Solid geometry, not hollow or containing spaces or gaps. A sculpture made out of solid rock. A solid mass of flowers. The shops were packed solid, consisting of the same substance throughout. Solid silver cutlery. Solid silver would be very pure silver. Solid gold would be very pure gold. I think only 1 part in every 1,000 would be non-gold. So solid gold would be, I think, 99.9% pure gold. Of typesetting without extra space between the lines of characters. Of a line or surface without breaks, unbroken. The solid outline encloses the area within which we measured. Of time, uninterrupted, continuous, post-positive. Now, this is a grammatical term that we will come up with in both learning Greek and Latin. A post-positive is never the first word of a sentence. And we have the word here post, which means after. We have posit, which comes from a Latin verb, which means to place. We have iv, the suffix iv here, which turns it into an adjective. And so a postpositive is something that is placed after the first word in a clause or sentence. An example of a postpositive in Latin is enim, and in the consecration rite of the Mass we have hoc est enim corpus meum, and we see that enim is after the verb here, hoc est enim, and so it's postpositive. And a postpositive in Greek is gar, gamma, alpha, rho, gar. I think it means and or but. It's a conjunction, but it doesn't begin the clause ever. It always comes at least second in the clause. So postpositive, it poured for 2 hours solid, unanimous or undivided. And I think unanimous comes from the Latin meaning one so. We've got unus, and then we have anima. So another typo, I should fix it in the notes. They received solid support from their teammates. Dependable, reliable, the defense is solid. There's solid evidence of lower inflation. Sound, but without any special qualities or flair. The rest of the acting is solid. Solid with US and formal, on good terms with. He thought he could put himself in solid with you by criticizing her. Australian, informal, severe, unfair. They'll be solid on him for that mistake. Noun, a substance or object that is solid rather than liquid or fluid. And I think that's solid in chemistry. And the reason why we are learning Latin and Greek in this series of videos is so as to improve our knowledge of scientific vocabulary. So solid, there are 3 phases of matter, and these 3 phases of matter are solid, liquid and gas. And I think that there might even be a 4th one called plasma, but for beginners chemistry there are 3 phases of matter, solid, liquid and gas, and so we can use solid for one of the phases of matter. Okay, so noun, a substance or object that is solid rather than liquid or fluid. Solids, food that is not liquid. She drinks only milk and rarely eats solids. Geometry, a body or geometric figure having 3 dimensions. And this is a definition that interests us. Phrases. Do someone a solid, US informal. Do something for someone as an act of kindness. Do someone a favor. They are a business, not a family, friend or a body who will do you a solid for being a good customer. The solid South, mainly historical. The politically united southern states of America, traditionally regarded as giving unwavering electoral support to the Democratic Party. Derivatives, solidness, noun. Origin, late Middle English from Latin solidus, which we've already covered, related to salvus, safe, and I think in Christian theology that means saved, and salvus sum means I'm saved in Latin. Solus, entire. And these are the references that I used for this video. I used Wiktionary for solidus, I used Wiktionary for spira. All of the definitions are taken from Wiktionary. Ame, I took its definition from Wiktionary. Soma, I took its definition from Wiktionary. Hutos, took its definition from Wiktionary. And solid, because it's an English word, I took it from the Oxford Dictionary of English Android app. And you can get that on the Play Store. And I think it's a subscription service, but it's cheap enough. Okay, so that's the end of this video. In the next video we shall look at the Latin word for sphere, and I was also looking at, I was reading Textus Receptus Matthew, the Gospel in Greek, and there is a bit at the resurrection where the stone is rolled away. I think that the Greek word used here is kalindro or something like that. So kalindro, you know, the stone, I think lithos or litos was kalindroed away. And of course, this is where we get our word cylinder, and the etymological definition of cylinder is roller. That's what it means. It's something that rolls. So yeah, we shall slowly build up our mathematical and geometric vocabulary, and then hopefully we might begin to take a look at Euclid's Elements, try to get through book 1 and build up our geometric knowledge and our knowledge of Greek.